Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm Dyvonne and today I'm making for dinner my green chili and chicken enchiladas. I'm going to share with you how I do it, give you all the ins and outs. I'll also have a list of ingredients in the description box below, and these are the ingredients that I'm going to be using. I have some roasted hatch chilies that I'm going to be using in the recipe. I also have some enchilada sauce there. If you don't have any hatch chilies like I have, you can also substitute them for those green chilies right there in the can. I have some onion powder, some kosher salt. I have 2 chicken breasts, and 2 chicken breasts is going to make a whole pan of enchiladas. I have some Spanish rice that I've also made to go with dinner. I've made some beans de olla. And did I tell you that my husband grew up with 5 sisters and he's the baby? And my sister-in-laws, they can make some wonderful, authentic Mexican dishes. And over my husband and I being married for 29 years, they have taught me a thing or two about making Mexican food. In my pot, I have my 2 chicken breasts cooking, and I also put in here a little bit of kosher salt, about a teaspoon. I also have a quarter of a white onion, and I had 1 clove of garlic that I'm boiling the chicken to give it some extra flavor. We're also going to use a little bit of that juice that's also going to come off the chicken, that broth. Now for my hatch chilies, I went to a hatch chili roasting event, and so I ended up freezing a bunch of hatch chilies. Periodically, I unthaw them and use them in a variety of different ways. Today, I'm using 4 of my hatch chilies. I went on and used the back of my butter knife and scraped off the char. You want to get rid of the char if you're using anything that's roasted, because we just want that roasted flavor, but we don't want a lot of that char on there. And then in the inside, I'm going to remove the seeds and also any of the vein, so that way it's not too spicy. This particular one, I'm using a medium hatch chilies that I have here that I had roasted. These are the medium variety. And I had mentioned earlier, if you don't have any hatch chilies like I'm using, you can also use the can of chilies. I like to use the chilies because it really helps to boost up the flavor and it gives the recipe a little extra something. Now with the chili verde sauce that we're going to be using, the green sauce, I love the convenience of it, and with the chilies, it's going to really boost up the flavor of our dinner tonight. Now, if you'd like to learn how to make chili verde sauce from scratch, I'll be sharing with how to make it from scratch in an upcoming video, so be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out when I upload that video on how to make chili verde sauce from scratch. Once my chicken is done, I go ahead and I shred it, and the broth, you want to keep that cooking broth because it's full of flavor. And then what I do is I spoon a little bit of the broth on top of the shredded chicken. It really helps the chicken to stay nice and moist. Now in addition, we're going to put a little bit of kosher salt, and I'm also going to be putting in the kosher salt is going to be to your taste. Now if you don't have kosher salt, you can also use regular table salt, and just a little bit goes a long way. I'm also sprinkling on some onion powder, and you want to put the onion powder on to your taste. I'm also doing this while my chicken breast is still warm, and then go ahead and toss your chicken breast several times to make sure that it absorbs all that nice seasoning. Now with my oil, I have my pan in about 1.5 inches of oil. I'm using some corn tortillas. And with our tortillas, we just want to cook them in the oil for about 15 to 20 seconds per side, not too long, because what we're doing is we're basically pre-cooking them a bit, and it's also going to aid when it's time for us to roll them into our enchiladas. If you are new to my channel, welcome in, and if you're a returner, welcome back. On my channel, I love sharing what I cook and bake for my family in my kitchen. Baking from scratch is truly one of my passions, but dolling up a box cake mix like nobody's business, just like my mom taught me, is also something that I adore doing. So if you enjoy Southern recipes and authentic Mexican cooking, I hope you consider subscribing. So once I go ahead and I've cooked my tortillas, I put them on a napkin so they can drain, and now we're going to start building up our enchiladas. I start off by putting a little bit of the enchilada sauce on the bottom of my pan, and this is going to help so that the tortillas don't stick. You can also use a little bit of nonstick spray and spray your pan, but I find just putting some of this enchilada sauce on the bottom is very, very helpful. Now while I'm doing this, I do have my oven and it's preheating on 375 degrees. Now with the tortillas, what I like to do is I take them and I just kind of I dip them in the sauce. You can also use a bowl and dip the tortillas in the sauce, but I find that doing it like this kind of saves some time. So with the chicken, I put a couple of tablespoons of chicken. You can put as much or as little chicken as you like. Now this pan that I'm using is an 11 by 15 casserole dish. When I roll my tortillas with the chicken inside, you can also put cheese. You can add a little cheese inside if you like. I'm just going to put cheese on top, but you're also welcome to put cheese inside of yours. Now when I roll them, I make sure that I put the seam side down so that way they stay closed as they bake. Now this is an 11 by 15 pan that I'm using my casserole dish. You can also make this in a 13 by 9 pan. In a 13 by 9 pan, you're going to need around about 16 corn tortillas for your casserole, for your enchilada casserole. This 11 by 15 is going to give me around anywhere from about 15 to 18, depending on how much chicken that I put in. I said a couple tablespoons, but it's more probably like I'm using about a fourth of a cup to a third of a cup of chicken per corn tortilla. And that's just to give you a little bit of a general estimate. My casserole right here, the enchiladas that I'm making, is going to feed anywhere from 6 to 8 people. So I'm feeding 5 people for dinner, and we're definitely going to have some leftovers, and that'll be perfect for some lunches tomorrow. If you're using the 13 by 9 casserole dish, and with that about 16 or so tortillas that you're going to use, you're going to end up feeding about 5 to 7 people, just kind of depending on, everybody's appetite. But that again is just to give you just like a general estimate. So on top, I've used some of those chilies I went on that I had chopped up. I'm only going to put some chilies on some of them because my daughter doesn't want any on hers, so I left some off on her side. And then I'm going to add in that enchilada sauce. We pour the enchilada sauce all over, and then next I'm going to put the cheese. Now you can use as much or as little cheese as you like. Usually anywhere from about a cup up to about a cup and a half of cheese typically will do. Now once I have my cheese on top, the balance of my green chilies, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle those on top as well. So as it bakes, it's going to get integrated with that melted cheese. Now if you're using the can of the chilies, you go ahead and drain them, and you do the same process of sprinkling them on top of the enchiladas after you put the sauce on, and then on top of the cheese as well. I've covered it with the foil. I'm going to put this in the oven till it's nice, hot, and bubbly, and it's going to be slightly brown around the edges. And this is what our enchiladas are looking like. They have baked up nicely. I've got the rest of our dinner here. I've got my rice, and I've also got my beans. In the description box below, I will put a list of ingredients for the rice, for the beans. I also have a wonderful video that goes along with that, and I'll put that link down below for your reference. But I also will have the recipe for the rice and beans also down below. So I'm going to serve us up some. I'm going to give y'all the first bite. We're going to see how we did tonight. And my enchiladas baked at that 375, and you want to bake them for about 30 to 35 minutes until they're nice and hot and the cheese is melted to your liking. So it is looking good, it is smelling good, and so I cannot wait to go ahead and have a bite of this. This dinner comes together so nicely. Go ahead and take your bite. Now I'm going to take my bite and see how we did. Wow. It is so satisfying. And you know what? And if you don't have any chicken to work with, you can put cheese inside your corn tortillas and make this cheese enchiladas. Well, that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me in my kitchen. If you're not subscribed, I invite you to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, don't forget to show it some love and give it a thumbs up, and click share. Share this video with a friend or family. And remember, it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.